So this is the electric type evolution of Eevee named Jolteon. Uh, it is known as the lightning Pokemon, which is the same as Electrike. It has the Volt Absorb ability, which is absorbs electric attacks and transfers that into health. It is number 135 in the National and Kanto Dex. It is also part of the ground group, A group. Uh, as all the Eevee evolutions are. And let's see, a little bit about Jolteon here. It's the lightest evolution and is tied with Glaceon for the shortest. Has the highest speed stat of all evolutions. Uh, he's the smallest one. Jolteon is the third fastest non-legendary Pokemon after Ninjask and Electrode, and it is tied for speed with Crobat and Aerodactyl. Jolteon is the only evolution without an obvious tail. However, it is believed that it does have a short, stubby tail under its spikes. Okay, and then it has physical traits of porcupines, fox, cats, coyotes, all that stuff. Names derived from Jolt, and of course the Eon suffix. Okay, so this is a chart of Jolteon sprites. I don't know, he looks pretty boss all around. I don't know, Silver, he looks pretty awesome. He looks awesome just all around, especially in the earlier generations. I don't know why, I tend to think that the earlier generations look way awesomer. But that might be just because, it's, I don't know, I don't want to say it's sharper, but it looks like it is. My personal favorite is the one from Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and the one from Green and Red in Japan. I don't know. My absolute favorite is the one from Green. I just think he looks he looks happy, but at the same time, he has like these spikes just coming off him, and it looks like he's totally dangerous. Um, and then obviously he has a green, his shiny is kind of a green, um, you know, so that about covers. Alright, so this is Flareon. Um, Flareon is the fire type evolution of Eevee. It is known as the flame Pokemon and has the flash fire ability. And what that does is it ups fire type moves a hint. Um, it makes the user immune to fire type damage when hit by a fire type, and flash fire will be activated. It is not activated by the burn status unless it's caused by a move which is fire type. And flash fire is not active when the user is frozen. Um, you know, it's kind of a unique ability there. And then for National and Kanto Dex, it is number 136. The reason those are the same is because Kanto was the first region, so, a little bit about Flareon here, a little trivia. Flareon's attack stat is the highest of any fire-type Pokemon, tied with Ho-Oh. So, pretty fair if you want one on your team. Certainly might recommend that. Flareon shares the same species with Charmeleon, Charizard, Moltres, and Infernape. Now, Charmeleon and Charizard I also covered in my first video. You should go check that out if you haven't already. But all those guys are known as the Flame Pokemon. And then in Generation 1, Flareon's base attack stat was the second highest available, tied with Kingler, Rhydon, and Machamp. It was surpassed only by Dragonite. And as of Generation 4, Flareon is the only fully evolved fire type that cannot learn Solar Beam. It's also the only non-legendary fire type that can learn Rain Dance, which is kind of unique since it's fire type. It doesn't make sense why he would want to learn Rain Dance. And all of Flareon's Pokédex entries either state that the temperature of its flame, or its body heat. It has now, as far as its origin goes, it has traits of like cats, foxes, lions. This is mostly based off lion, you can tell. And then the name is derived from flare with the eon suffix. Of course, suffix refers to probably evolution itself. I think I mentioned that with Jolteon. And its Japanese name refers to rocket boosters, which is used to propel by combustion of fuel. So, thus going along with the fire type thing. So this is a chart of all of Flareon sprites. And my favorite one are from Generation 1, 2, or yeah, but particularly 1 with the exception of Yellow. Those appeal to me a lot. What reason is, I'm not sure, except for Yellow. Yellow doesn't appeal to me as much. Actually, I think that's probably my least favorite. Um, but the other two look absolutely magnificent. I think they just look very, very original, very, uh, uh, I don't want to say cool because that's not really that descriptive, but I think you get what I mean. But Yellow just it looks kind of plain, bland, kind of. Anyway, and then the other thing too is Shiny. It looks like they took him and gave him a tan, or like scared the crap out of him, and made him all pale. I'm not actually no, they gave him a tan, but except for the last one for Generation 4, it looks like they scared him, made him all pale and everything, but it's kind of a lighter orangey pale color. Um, yeah, and that basically, right, this is the dark type evolution Umbreon. It's the Moonlight Pokemon with the synchronized ability, which copies if it gets frozen, the opponent gets frozen, and that applies for all the status effects. It's number 197 in National Dex and 189 in the Johto Dex. It is part of the Egg Ground group. And then other little things about him. Umbreon, I think I mentioned this earlier, along with Vaporeon and Leafeon are the tallest evolutions. And then Umbreon has the ability to spray poison, but the only poison type move it can learn is Toxic, and then only through the TM. And it was the first pure dark type of its kind, or pure dark type Pokemon, until later. More Pokemon came in Generation 3. Let's see here. Um, Umbreon is the only non-psychic type Pokemon with the ability to synchronize, and yeah. Um, Name origin. Uh, Umbreon's name is derived from Umbra, which is Latin for shadow, ghost, and of course the Eon suffix. And then physical traits are similar to those of a hare. Numerous East Asian legends concerning a moon rabbit, and European stories, moon gazing hare. Also roots tied to folklore sources containing references to the moon, hares, and nighttime. Okay, so this is Umbreon sprites. They look pretty much the same all around. Although I do love his shiny. Instead of blue or yellow rings, he has blue rings, and instead of red eyes, he has yellow eyes. And I think that just looks totally cool. But again, all the sprites look pretty much the same. I think the only one that looks anything different is Gold, just because he's more pouncy. I think he's lower to the ground than all the other ones. They're standing more straight up. Even in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, they're crunching a little bit, but I think the only one that has any uniquity to it is Gold here. But they all look pretty much the same. And then Umbreon, if I was gonna have an evolution and I was gonna evolve it based on looks, I would probably do Umbreon here. I don't know why. I just think he looks really cool. It would either be this or Espeon, which we'll talk about next. So that pretty much covers Umbreon.